So we are now, class, entering the data analysis part of research, and we will be concentrating to the quantitative part. So we will be talking about statistics, and that is the reason why last time I told you to install just software in your gadget there. So it can be a laptop or a desktop. This is not just applicable to those who will be using cell phone. But again, if you have available gadget for just, you may install it para masundan nyo and you will know what to do with your collected data. Okay? Sige. So, this evening, I'll be talking about statistics, but I will skip a lot of parts here since yung mga importante lang yung pagtutuunan natin ng pansin talaga. Kasi hindi naman ito statistics na subject. This is research and statistics is just one part. And you had your stat na last time, maybe in your second year. So this evening, we will just discuss what statistics is and what are the categories of statistics and the types of data. Okay, we will be differentiating the types of data. And at the end of the session, I hope you can identify what type of data are you going to collect. So since all of the groups here in this section have quantitative as their research design, then all of you will be using statistics. This one is a branch of mathematics that most likely deal with the collection of data, and then after collecting, we will be organizing it, and then we will be presenting it. We have discussed already how to present our data. It may be in through the use of a table, rather than graphical presentation using graphs and charts, and also the textual presentation. But it does not end there, because the collected data should be analyzed also and at the same time interpreted. And the purpose of all these activities is to arrive in a sound decision or a good conclusion for your research problem. The numbers will be meaningless if we will not do statistical testing for that. Okay, so again, we will be collecting data. Some of you will be doing interview, and most of you are using questionnaire for the collection, and there are also groups that will be doing experimentations and observations just to gather all the numerical information for the sake of answering the problem of your study. And then for the presentation, all of you will be required to make tables for your numerical results, and some will have graphs and charts depende on the need of the study. Okay? Sige din yan. And then, aside from the tables and the graphs, you also have to provide textual presentation of your data. Okay, next we have analysis. What are we going to do with the analysis of data? This is just describing the characteristics, the behavior, or the properties of your collected data. Pwede din natin i-identify if there are possible relationships between variables that we have gathered. So, kailangan pag na-collect natin si numerical data, we will be able to describe them. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga numbers na yan? And if ever you have lots of variables, we have to make sure that we can explain whether a relationship between these variables exists. That's the use of statistics. And then interpretation involves, again, explanation of the meaning of the statistical findings. After natin siya i-analyze using statistical tools, we will have numbers again. Aside from the collected numerical information, may numbers pa syempre na ibibigay si statistics sa atin. And during the interpretation, kailangan alam natin how to explain these numbers that we have computed using statistical tools. And then we will be using these numbers to make a valid conclusion, generalization, or inferences. Okay, that's analysis and at the same time interpretation. These are all the activities that we are going to do for statistics or for the data analysis part of your research. Okay, now categories of statistics. When you say statistics, we have two: descriptive and inferential. From the name itself, descriptive, we are just going to describe or just summarize our data. I-describe lang natin siya if ever meron siyang certain pattern or certain behavior, or pwede lang din i-summarize natin. Like sa demographic profile, we can summarize how many of our respondents are male and how many are females. That's just summarizing. So that will be under the descriptive statistics. We are not going to analyze it or make inferences or conclusion. Purely description and summary for the descriptive statistics. So what are the examples of the data that will use descriptive statistics? We have here number one. Let's just change this to medtech student. So para ma-conceptualize natin siya, we have here getting the census of the IQ level of the BS Medtech students of GSD MSFI. So like, how many are you? If you are 500 all in all, and then we will conduct research, and then we will collect all the IQs from the first year to the fourth year students. Then this is just class descriptive statistics, kasi at the end of the day, we will just summarize ito yung IQ ng mga first year, ito yung mga IQ ng mga second year, third year, and fourth year, and we will just describe their IQ. But kung low ba siya, high, or average. So walang inferences, walang generalization, conclusion na gagawin, purely describing lang and summarization. Okay? And then another one, again, let's conceptualize. Tracer study of the BS Medtech graduates of GSD MSFI. When you say tracer studies, we are doing follow-ups. Like, we are going to look for the graduates like from 2013 to 2020. Where are they now? Nakapasa na ba sila ng board exam or not? And kung nakapasa na sila, are they employed or not? Or kung employed, saan sila na-employ? Government, private institution, sa hospital ba? Or sa, anong tawag niyo dyan? Yung like diagnostic laboratory in the community. I'm not familiar how are we going to call that, but nevertheless, that's one their area for employment. Now, tracer study siya. Descriptive statistics lang, kasi at the end of the research, you will just summarize na ilan na yung nakapasa ng boards, ilan yung hindi, ilan yung employed sa government, and then ilan din yung sa private institution. Tapos i-summarize din natin na ito, these people are working in the hospital, ito sa community, and then ito sa, kung meron pa kayong ibang areas ng employment, isasali siya dyan sa tracer study. So again, there is no like critical thinking talaga na involved here, but purely summarization and at the same time description of the collected data. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng descriptive statistics. So later, if we still have time, I'll be presenting to you the different statistical tools under this category, the descriptive statistics. Okay, now most of you will be doing inferential statistics. This requires critical judgment, and other higher na mathematical methods. Okay? And ano yung purpose nitong inferential statistics? From the name inferential, we will be organizing our data in such a way that we will have a conclusion after. We will have inferences after with the collected data. So in inferential statistics, we are actually doing hypothesis testing. Look at your paper. Most of you merong hypothesis. Tama? Pag merong hypothesis, most likely you will be doing inferential statistics. Diba? Ang hypothesis is an educated guess, and for us to know whether that guess is correct or not, we will be doing testing. Okay? And we will be collecting numerical data from our respondents or from our subject of the study. But these numbers will be meaningless again if we will not do mathematical methods. So, yan yung dyan papasok ngayon si inferential statistics. So at the end of the research, we will know whether we are going to reject our educated guess or our hypothesis, or we are going to accept it. So examples of studies that will use inferential statistics, like comparing the effectiveness of two substances. Ito kasing nasa screen, antihypertensive drug. Sa inyo na case, like, di ba, meron kayong study na anticoagulant. So remember that we have anticoagulants na already existing in the market. Ginagamit yun na siya in your procedures for the diagnosis. Now, here is your study. You are proposing another agent na possibly anticoagulant din. So again, nagko-compare tayo ng efficacy ng dalawang substances na ito. Therefore, meron tayong hypothesis. Like, there is no significant difference between the existing anticoagulant and your substance there. Kung saan na siya galing, sa plant or somewhere else. So itetest natin yun ngayon kung meron nga bang difference or wala. Magkakandak kayo ng experiment and then you will have numerical data after. Okay? Now, yung mga numerical data natin, gagamitan natin ng inferential statistics para at the end of the day, we can conclude whether may difference nga ba yung existing anticoagulant doon sa bagong pinopropose nyo na anticoagulant. Okay? So that's how important inferential statistics is. Kasi pag hindi natin prinocess yung data ninyo, like meron ka dyan 3, 4, 5 for the existing anticoagulant, then you have 4, 5, 6 na data, hindi natin malalaman just by looking at the numbers kung may difference nga ba sila or wala. And hindi natin malalaman whether your substance is an effective anticoagulant or not. Okay? Now, aside from the experimental studies that will use inferential statistics, we also have quantitative descriptive studies na kailangan din ng inferential stat. So just like predicting the academic performance of the medtech students and then the factors affecting their academic performances. So like, sa tingin niyo study habit, di ba? Meron tayong study habit. That's one factor. And then you want to know ano ba yung effect niya or ano ba yung relationship niya sa academic performance. So you will have questionnaire for the study habit and then you will be collecting the grades of the students for their academic performance. Now, papasok dyan si inferential statistics kasi just by looking at the numbers sa questionnaire and then their grades, we will not know whether there is a relationship between the two variables. So kailangan natin i-process siya. And we need critical thinking for this, that at the end of the research, we can really make an inference na totoo nga talaga na si study habit may effect doon or may influence doon sa academic performance. Okay? So that is true for descriptive research. And then another example, evaluating the patient's perception on branded and generic drugs. So this will be done using questionnaire. Meron din sa inyong kukuha ng perceptions, right? Or knowledge, ano nga yung CAP? Attitude and practices. Merong ganyan, di ba? So, you made your questionnaire, and I think though hindi ko pa nakita yung questionnaire ninyo, gumamit kayo ng Likert scale for that. Likert scale yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na mag-check na lang yung respondents ninyo. And then yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na yan may corresponding verbal interpretation. Okay? So mga numbers yan siya dyan. Pero we will not really make an inference regarding the perception of your respondent if we will not process the numerical data. Kaya kung butang na to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they answered 5. So what does it mean? Ano ba talaga yung perception nila, or ano ba talaga yung knowledge nila, high, low, or meron ba siyang relationship to other variables? So kapag ganito ang isipin nyo, kapag in your statement of the problem, you have a question na, is there a significant relationship or is there a significant difference, you will be using inferential statistics. Okay, so go back to your paper and look at your statement of the problem, whether these questions exist or hindi, or wala. Para alam nyo na pag meron yan, automatic inferential statistics tayo. Okay, now I will skip this part since you are done with the research variables. You have your conceptual framework already. You have identified your dependent and independent variables. So again, I will not go back with that. As long as you know that independent variable is the one being manipulated or controlled in the study, and then the dependent variable, yung effect. So kaya tinawag din siyang outcome variable. Okay? Yung pagtutuunan natin ng pansin, since this one is data analysis, syempre dito tayo sa levels of measurement or yung data type. So dapat at the end of the session, alam nyo anong data, anong type ng data yung makokollect nyo, ha? Levels of measurement or data type. Sige. So we have 4 types of data type. The ratio, the interval. Other name for the interval is the continuous measurement data. And then we also have the ordinal or ordered categorical data. And lastly, we have the nominal scale or the categorical data. Okay? Now, we will be using JASP. Sa JASP class, meron lang tayong 3 types of data. We have the nominal, ordinal, and we have the scale. So ito silang dalawa, tinatawag lang natin na scale. Wait lang ha. Okay, again, sorry for the interruption. We have again the scale. Scale lang ang makikita nyo sa JASP. Okay? Pinag-iisa lang sila. Okay, now let's start with the first one, the nominal scale. Pag ang data nyo is nominal, ito yung walang numerical value. Wala kang numbers dito, pero part pa rin siya ng statistics. Okay? Walang numbers, pero part ng statistics. Other name for nominal scale is categorical scale because we only have categories here. So you will see this in your questionnaire, especially in the part of the demographic profile. Okay? Like when you ask for the sex of your respondent, they will not answer 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. They will just check whether they are male or female. Susulat lang nila kung babae ba sila or lalaki. So that's category or a classification. So nominal scale ang tawag dyan. And then other areas sa demographic profile also, dito din na belong sa nominal scale, like employment status, the marital status, the type of hospital they work, like kung private ba or public or tertiary, secondary, or ano yan, primary hospital ba yun? Papasok sila dyan lahat sa nominal scale. Again, they don't have numerical values, but nevertheless, they are still part of statistics. So you should know, if you have this kind of data na makokollect nyo at the end of your data gathering procedure, dapat alam nyo na it's a nominal type of data. Kasi we will identify afterwards what statistical tool is most applicable if you have a nominal scale. Okay? Hindi kasi lahat ng tool natin sa statistics applicable din sa lahat ng types of data. Now, the next one is the ordinal scale data. Ordinal, there is order here, or there is ranking. So meaning we have numerical values for the ordinal scale. It's just that we prioritize the ranking of these numbers. And this one, papasok si Likert scale dito. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likert scale, kung 5 yung pagpipilian, like 1 is moderate, 1 is strongly disagree. Kung meron kayong statement dyan, papacheck nyo sa kanila whether they strongly disagree. 2 is like moderately agree. 3 is neutral. And then moderately agree is 4. And then lastly, yung 5 is strongly agree. May ranking yun siya doon, di ba? So ordinal scale ang tawag dyan. So look at your questionnaires if you have questionnaires, class. And if meron dyan Likert scale, that's an ordinal type of data. So another example for a Likert scale is this one. Pero hindi to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -2, -1. Pwede din kasing ganyan yung number niya. Okay, as long as may ranking siya, and then there is verbal interpretation. Okay, pag 5 yung pagpipilian ng inyong respondents, we call that Likert scale, ha? Pero pag less than 5, meron kasing questionnaires na less than 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, tinanggal ang 3 na neutral. Ang tawag natin dyan, Likert type scale, or Likert type lang siya na questionnaire. Kasi si Likert, ang ginawa niya talaga, 5 na choices. So kung less than that, hindi na talaga siya matatawag na Likert, but Likert type. Okay? Next, we have here the interval scale data. Okay? Interval scale data. Ito yung class merong true and real numerical values. And these are products of investigation or experimentation. Okay? Merong constant interval between our successive values here, but nevertheless they are continuous, and then they are real numbers. And then most of the information here will be generated sa laboratory. So most of the results ng experiments under dito sa interval scale. However, si interval scale does not have a true zero point. Explain ko yan later bakit wala. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng true zero point. But before that, examples of the data dito sa interval scale, we have the weight, the length, the timing, concentration, pressure. That includes blood pressure, blood glucose level, time of death, kasali na yung concentration, ano pa ba yung mini-measure natin sa laboratory, kasali yan siya dyan lahat sa interval scale. Pero ano yung ibig sabihin ng true zero point? Example, this one. Gusto mong malaman yung IQ ng mga estudyante. So magkakandak tayo ng testing, IQ test. And then the scores will be from 0 to 200. So ang sabi ko kanina, yung interval scale does not have a true zero point. Ito yung example. A score na 0 in the test that does not mean na there is an absence of intelligence. Pag na 0 ka, hindi ibig sabihin nun wala ka ng intelligence. Nakuha? And kung nakakuha ka man ng 200 sa test, it doesn't mean also that you possess ultimate intelligence. It's just that during the test na kinandak, 0 yung lowest, 200 yung highest. So sa mga ganito na mga testing na
merong zero pero hindi naman talaga true zero kasi it doesn't mean na pag zero ka wala. It does not mean na pag zero ang score mo, wala ka na talagang intelligence class. So ano yun siya? Interval scale data siya. Na nag-overlap kasi sila ni ratio scale. Kaya sabi ko kanina, yung sa JASP software, we only have 3 types of data there. Nominal, ordinal, and the scale. Scale lang ang tawag nila kasi pinagsama na si interval and si ratio. Okay? So si ratio, ganun pa rin. Merong successive intervals between data. Continuous yung data natin. And they are also real numbers. Actually, they are the highest and most precise na level of measurement. And ang kaibahan lang nila ni interval scale, meron itong meaningful true zero point. Na pag sinabi mong zero, zero talaga yun, wala. Okay? Wala talaga siya. Like pag zero ang distance, wala talaga yun siyang distance. Hindi kagaya sa interval scale kanina, na kapag ka makakuha ka ng score na zero, hindi yun ibig sabihin wala ka ng intelligence. Okay? So yun lang yung kaibahan nila. So that is the reason why sineparate sila. Pero pagdating sa mga statistical platforms, pinagsasama na sila. Kasi nag-o-overlap kagaya nito. Example dito, weight, height. Pero andito pa rin si height and si weight for the ratio. Andito pa rin si time. Yung distance and speed, pwede mo din siyang tawaging interval scale. So, identify niyo na ba yung data na mako-collect nyo after your data gathering procedure? What do you think will be your data? Yung mga experimental, syempre, either interval or ratio scale. Pero, yung mga gagamit ng questionnaire, ano sa tingin nyo? Ordinal or scale ba siya? Class, meron yan siyang twist dyan for the questionnaire class. Kasi, di ba magla-Likert scale kayo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So supposedly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or the Likert scale is an ordinal data. But the twist there is if you're going to get the average, you are going to get the mean sa lahat ng sagot nila. Magiging interval scale yan siya. Look at your questionnaire. Di ba meron kayo dyang like area 1, meron kayong 10 question or 10 statement and bibilugan nila yung answer nila or magche-check sila. And then after that, kukunin nyo yung mean sa lahat from statement 1 to 10. Pag ganun ang nangyari na kukunan mo ng mean ang lahat ng statements in one area, that will fall sa scale na. Okay? Interval or ratio scale. So you have to be careful and you have to properly identify whether your data from your questionnaire remains as an ordinal data or masasali na siya sa interval or sa ratio scale. Okay? Any questions so far about the types of data? I will no longer discuss the population sample and sampling technique. We are done with this sa prelim. Pero questions so far sa types of data, naintindihan ba yun? Nagkasinabot bataan ng ato ang types of data? Kay pag-abot class sa kapag mag-discuss na tawag statistical tools, before mo kasi magamit ang statistical tool, kailangan mo munang ma-properly identify what type of data ang na-collect mo. Hindi magra-run ang test kapag mali ang type of data mo. Okay?
So, bale ma'am, dalawa ka scale ang gamiton ma'am. Halimbawa sa amo ma'am is nominal o tong ma'am interval.
You have to properly identify that because I believe you have your demographic profile. So nominal scale yon. And then
doon sa questionnaire ninyo, ano nga yun? Knowledge, man siguro yun? Knowledge, attitude, and practice.
Knowledge attitude practices.
Okay, mahuhulog yun siya most likely as scale kasi marami kayong questions in an area, and then at the end, you will be getting the mean. So ano yun siya, kailangan ma-properly identify natin yun. Tapos kunan nyo, di ba, ng hindi ko alam kung difference or relationship. Like, is there a significant relationship between the demographic profile and the practices? Ganyan. Meron kasi yan siyang specific tool na gagamitin. Okay? So as we go on with the discussion of the tools na pwedeng gamitin dyan, malalaman nyo kung ano ba talaga, kung ito nominal ang data ko, tapos kukunan ko siya ng relationship sa interval, i-identify natin anong tools, anong statistical or inferential statistical tool yung gagamitin natin. And kung ang inyong collected data are purely interval lahat, ang question is there a significant difference? Merong ibang tool para dyan. Meron ding ibang tool if ang question nyo ay, is there a significant relationship? Yun yung isa-isahin natin. And aside from identifying the appropriate tool, kailangan din natin pag-aralan yung pag-navigate talaga ng software. Kahit representative na lang ng bawat grupo para mas madali sa inyo. Kasi yun yung i-question sa pagdating sa final defense, more on the results, syempre, and yung interpretation ng results. Pag hindi nyo kasi alam paano siya ginawa sa JASP and paano siya i-interpret, ayun, mangangatanan sa final defense. So isa-isa na, hinahinay lang takidaghan kitag tools sa statistics, and these tools are dependent into what type of data you have. Pero let's start with the descriptive statistics. So di ba nasabi ko kanina, when you say descriptive statistics, we will just describe the properties, characteristics, or behavior of our data. Or we will just simply summarize them. Now, the first statistical tool under the descriptive statistics is the frequency distribution. Okay, look at your data analysis. Wala kasi akong access ngayon sa paper ninyo. But diba doon sa chapter, ay sa methodology na part ng paper ninyo, ang last part nun before the ethical consideration is the data analysis. Tingnan nyo kung meron kayong sinulat dyan na frequency distribution. Wala. So yung iba, especially, sino ba yung gagamit ng frequency distribution? Yung may mga questions about demographic profile. Okay? Pag meron kayong question sa demogs, automatic class, you will be making a frequency distribution table. Okay? Sige. So actually, this one is just a table, and this will just summarize all the data that we have collected. We will group the data, depende kung anong data ang kinolect natin. Example, demographic profile sa sex. So male and female, i-group natin lahat ng male, and then we will also group lahat ng female. So this is just simply summarizing our data. Now, let me give you an example. I will not use this table ha, kasi scores kasi ito, scores ng test. I want to use yung demographic profile talaga. Open tayo ng Excel, and then isasabay ko na lahat ha, and paggamit din ng JASP here para diretso tayo. Parang hanggang distribution table lang talaga ako ba ngayong gabi. Frequency distribution table. You can follow me ha. Anyway, this one is recorded. If hindi kayo maka-follow, review niyo lang yung video and do it sa sarili ninyo if you have installed the JASP there. Okay. Okay, I opened an Excel here. And for example, yung questionnaire ninyo is asking for demographic profile. Una is the sex. Kay Osi man po, gusto man ako na sila tanan sa tunga. So wait lang ha. And then, ang iba sa inyo, merong questions sa, like, employment status. These are just hypothetical data, ha? Okay, hinimo ko lang ni on the spot. Okay. Then yung iba, dalawa lang muna. So like, meron kang respondent number 1 is a male. Okay. Okay, again, respondent number 1 is a male. Tapos, yung iba, dili lang nato siya ipasunod. Example, na kay 20 ka respondents. Tapos mo na iyahang answer. Tapos the rest kay iyang answer kay female. Again, wala tayong numerical values for this, ha? So, nominal data ito. And then, we have employment status. Ano nilagay niyo dyan sa employment status? Employed, unemployed. So, merong iba dyan, unemployed. Tapos, yung iba, employed. Ano lang, inilibutan. Hindi ko sure sa nasa inyong, ang uban self-employed. Sige, ano lang itong copy na lang ako niya kay hypothetical data ni tanan. Self-employed. So example nga ni class. Inyuhan niya siyang i-ano, ha. Inyuhang data na na-collect. Actually, this one is applicable kapag ka pen and paper questionnaire tayo. Kasi kapag ka nag-Google form kayo, I think the Google form will generate the data naman agad-agad. Pero gagawa pa kayo ng sarili ninyong frequency distribution table. So kung pen and paper, ganito, ilalatag nyo sa Excel lahat ng collected data ninyo. Mahirap ito kapag 300 inyong respondents, daghan kayo muog, itali. So isulat ninyo sila, encode ninyo silang tanan sa Excel. Okay? Now, anong gagawin para si Just na mismo ang magpo-produce ng frequency distribution table? Save this file, pero save as dapat. And saan nyo ilalagay. Like for me, ilalagay ko siya sa Pharmaceutical Statistics. MP3A lang para di ko mag-label. And then, ang nababasa lang ni JASP na file is itong CSV. So, kaya save as yung choose ko kanina. CSV, delimited. Choose niyo yan siya, and then save. Save all that you have encoded. Pag na-save nyo na yan, lipat tayo sa JASP. Okay? Wait lang. Share ko ang screen. Lipat tayo sa JASP pag na-save na lahat ng data ninyo, natali nyo na siya sa Excel. Now, ito yung mukha ng JASP natin, class. And then, dito tayo. Meron 3 bars dyan sa taas. Click nyo yan, open, and then hanapin nyo yung file ninyo. So, nasa computer ko yun, nasa Pharmaceutical Statistics na folder. And then, ano nga yung nilagay ko doon? MP3A. Ayan, MP3A. So, lahat ng mariread ni JASP is naka CSV format. Kapag ka naka XLS lang yan siya, or yung, anong tawag doon? Yung sa Excel lang talaga na format, hindi niya yan mababasa. So, i-open mo siya and i-import niya yung naka-encode sa Excel. Okay? And then, look at this, yung mga bilog-bilog dyan sa tabi ng ating demographic profile, sex and employment status. Pag i-click mo yan sa class, lalabas yung 3 types of data. Nominal, ordinal, and scale. So you have to choose. And then remember, itong demographic profile, nominal. So tama na yan siya, na bilog-bilog. That's the symbol for the nominal. And ito din tama na kasi naka-nominal data na siya. Okay? Now, since we are talking about descriptive statistics, i-click natin itong descriptives sa taas. Okay? And then, anong gagawin natin? Frequency table. So, i-click natin si frequency table para magkaroon tayo ng summary. Ito yung ilalagay nyo talaga sa results section ng paper ninyo. And then, ililipat natin ito like sa sex. So, ayan, automatic, pag nilipat mo siya here sa variables, it will give you the frequency distribution table. Kung makikita mo na dyan, sa 19 lang pala yung respondents natin, akala ko 20. Sa 19 respondents, 12 yung female and 7 ang male, and then automatic magbibigay na siya ng percent. Hindi na natin sasali itong valid percent and cumulative percent. Percent na lang talaga. And then kung gusto natin yung isa din, employment status, ililipat mo din siya. And it will generate a new table. Okay? For the employment status. So nag-summarize na siya. Ano lang yung kasi purpose ng descriptive statistics, summarizing the data and describing them. So as you can see, for the employment status of our hypothetical data, 9 of them are employed, 5 ang self-employed, and 5 ang unemployed. Okay? So, ano gagawin natin dito? You can copy this table. You can copy this, and then open mo yung paper ninyo. May results section na siguro kayo dyan. Wait lang ha. Open ako ng Microsoft Word. Na-copy ko yun, and then automatic, you can paste it sa paper ninyo. Okay? So, pwede mo ding i-remove na itong valid percent kasi hindi na ito kailangan. Actually, ang cumulative percent din. Ay, hindi na ako na-remove. Okay, dugay tamahumban. Okay, palakihin ko na lang siya. Para hindi na kayo masyadong matagalan, maggawa pa kayo ng table, mag-compute pa kayo ilang percent. Kasama kasi talaga sa frequency distribution table ang percent. Okay? Yun na ako, ayusin ang isa. So pag meron ka ng table, ang gagawin na lang natin is to provide title for this, like table 1. Okay? And then ito, palitan mo na lang siya ng table 2. Then, lagyan mo siya ng title. Ano title niyo? Employment status of the respondents. Like, sex of the respondents. Okay, so pwede ka na agad, class, gumawa ng result section ng study mo. And then, ito na part, we will be inserting here the textual presentation. Meaning, you will be describing what is in the table. Na yung respondents ninyo, 12 ang female and 7 ang male. So, sa female, that corresponds na 63% ng lahat ng respondents and then 36% lang ang male. Ganun lang. Explain nyo lang kung ano yung nasa table. So, that is also true for table number 2. Ito talaga yung gusto kong i-discuss para mas mabilis yung result section ng paper ninyo and makadiretso na kayo agad sa discussion na section. Okay? Questions so far? Isang statistical tool pa lang yun, and that is just for the demographic profile only. Yung frequency distribution table is applicable only for nominal and ordinal types of data. Okay? Sige. Lipangutana. Kasi nabuta ito ha. You may practice class. dyan sa inyo. Yes, Trixie, you have question?
Median mode at saka person argon, ma'am. Pwede din namin magamit yung just, ma'am.
Yeah, that will be our next lesson, next meeting. After the frequency distribution table, I'll teach you the measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode. Especially if you have lots of data. Okay lang, tag-sampu lang inyong data kay kamo na lang ang mag-solve. Pero kung 300 na kabuok inyong respondents, mabuang tani. So you will just encode that one sa Excel and let just do the math. Okay, I will teach you also next week. Measures of central tendency and measures of variation. That includes the standard deviation. Tapos after that, we will be talking about the statistical tools that can be used to answer the questions. Is there a significant difference and is there a significant relationship? Yun yung mga next part ng mga lessons. Siguro may extend pa tayo hanggang finals. Yes.
Ma'am, paano po yung amin, ma'am? Kaya di ba, ma'am, yung amin kahit yung time series, ma'am? Tapos parang interval ba yung amin, ma'am? Kasi may 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours, 5 hour to 6 hours, good, ma'am. Tapos i-compare pa namin yung HEPA, RIN, tsaka yung ginawa namin.
Yung time series ninyo, di ba, is like after 1 hour, nag-clat ba siya or hindi?
Opo, ma'am, parang ganun po, ma'am.
So like checklist lang siya, yes or no?
Opo, ma'am, yun po ang sinabi sa amin, ma'am.
Let me review
Tapos gikay square ang binigay sa amin na statistical treatment.
You cannot use parametric test there kasi wala kang true values or real numbers. Kasi tingnan mo lang after 1 hour, i-check mo lang kasi yes or no. So mahuhulog siyang categorical na data. Nominal na data lang.
Okay po, ma'am.
Okay, so tama yun, chi-square ang gagamitin ninyo. I will also include that one in the discussion, yung chi-square. Okay? Sige. After na siya sa, is there a significant difference and is there a significant relationship? So, wala nang concerns. That's it na lang muna tayo for this evening since it's already 6:57. We might or we might not have a quiz next meeting, so please prepare. I'll give you a copy of everything, my slides and the recording. Paki-wait na lang sa Schoology, especially sa mga wala dito. Okay? For the meantime, manihapon na ta. You may leave the conference now. Class.